dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yo, what's good, original groove?
See, it was starting off good, and I was okay. And then you try to do something extra, knowing that you can't.
I can't.
No.
Can't is not in a man's vocabulary.
Because when you said you can't.
You're not a man. It just takes practice and work towards it. You'll be able to do whatever you want in life.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
Man on.
You're
right.
Okay.
It's your boy DJ Nuki, your girl.
Sierra Nicole.
We back on the channel with another
Kid and C original.
Welcome back to the channel, man. We got another Watch Mojo for y'all today, man. Lately, we've been on a crime spree, right?
Yeah, we have.
Been on a crime spree. You know what I'm saying? Never know. We might end up being the next Bunny and Clyde after all this. I ain't trying to go all
I ain't trying to do all that. I'm just gonna be C, and that's that.
That's all.
That's it. That's all.
You want to be key to C?
I'm gonna be my own person.
I said you don't want to be key and C?
I'm just gonna be me.
And a key to C is coming very, very soon, y'all.
Don't say that.
Oh, man, we got top 10 falsely convicted people.
I just seen a guy, it came to my phone. He's probably about to walk free from a 1992 house fire that killed his wife. And they didn't have enough evidence back then to convict him, but he's been in prison since.
Oh.
And so they're about They didn't really have any evidence. They didn't know if it was like an accidental. They just assumed that he probably set the house on fire. They didn't have enough evidence to even...
But he got convicted.
But he got convicted, though. But they didn't really have enough evidence back then. But he got convicted. He's been in prison ever since 1992.
But now what's that, 30 years? 22?
But he's possibly about to walk free. Yeah.
That's crazy, man. Whew. So with that being said, man, before we get into it, make sure you check out the links in the description box.
Down below.
You already know where to go, man. If you want to first support, all you got to do is check out down below. Also, if you enjoyed today's video, lock it in with a thumbs up. We'll highly appreciate that as well. But it's top 10 falsely convicted people. They do it all the time.
Everyone's been accused of something they didn't do, but not everyone spends time in prison for it.
You scheduled me out again. Deep down, it hurts.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 falsely convicted people.
Yes, are you kidding? Is this a joke? Or, what are you doing?
For this list, we're looking at people who are actually convicted of a crime they did not commit. Not just people who are unjustly accused, like Joan of Arc. Number 10, Randall Dale Adams.
I do not like looking down the barrel of a pistol. I do not like being threatened.
The first person on our list became the subject of the influential documentary, The Thin Blue Line. Randall Dale Adams was convicted of the 1976 murder of a Dallas police officer. But, in actual fact, it was an acquaintance named David Harris that shot the policeman when he pulled Harris over in a stolen car. Harris, however, insisted Adams had shot the officer, though Adams was not in the car at the time.
All they want to do is talk about how they want to kill you. That's the only thing they cared about. That's the only thing they talked about.
The prosecutor in the case withheld evidence, as detailed in the documentary, which also included Harris's later confession. Adams received no restitution for his sentence due to a technicality.
She said if there was ever a hell on earth, it's Dallas County. Yeah, she's right.
Number 9, Arthur Allan Thomas.
That's messed up.
A technicality? What a technicality?
And how did y'all even assume that it was him?
Because it was his car.
Oh, that's right.
It was his car. But his
the dude stole the car. Because it said it was a stolen car.
Or was it, he probably just dude knew him, so he probably borrowed it, but ended up reporting it
That's
stolen.
messed up. See.
Oh, hold on. He probably borrowed it, but dude, and never brought it back, but dude didn't never reported it stolen because it was the acquaintance. But he like, bro, I don't have my card. Bro didn't have my card. It's up.
That's so messed up. And
then,
stuff like that happens a lot.
Then you had the nerve to say, I'm the one that was driving the car. Then to come back later, man, y'all better start selecting and choosing who y'all be around for real. Every friend ain't no friend. It's an end.
Every person you call friend ain't
Friends ends with the end. There's an end to a friend.
Did you murder Harvey and Jeanette Crew?
No, of course I didn't.
Yeah, I thought you'd say that.
It's tragic to be convicted falsely of a crime you didn't commit. It's even worse when it happens twice. New Zealand farmer Arthur Allan Thomas spent time in prison for the 1970 murders of Harvey and Jeanette Crew. After his conviction was quashed, he was tried and sentenced again. His conviction was largely based on the presence of a rifle shell found in the victim's garden 4 months after the murder. That shell was planted there by police officers to frame Thomas. In 1979, Thomas was finally pardoned and freed. However, the police officers responsible for his arrest were not punished.
And this has never been rectified to this day.
Number 8, Steve.
I'll say this. Then I'm gonna say something on Steven. Like I know I'm sitting there. And it sucks when y'all really like plant evidence.
Yeah.
Because y'all can't solve the case. Y'all have then allowed somebody who possibly have truly killed them to now get away with it. So somebody basically possibility got away with a double homicide, and ain't no telling if they ever did it again. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all want to play with evidence and stuff. Yeah. Quit touching and stuff. Like, go do your job for real. Because that's the career. Don't try to take the easy way out. If you can't keep going at it, sometimes the best thing to do, take your eyes off the case, go put your eyes, then come back to the case and have a new fresh view at it. Yeah. If you can't get it, like, as long as you get it, okay. The family will be happy. Even if it's 10 years from now, the family will be happy. And everybody just saying, get the right person. Exactly. That's all you got to do. Now, Steven case is we've talked about him before over here. Steven, I'm just like, I don't know. I'm
not sure.
I can't because my thing is, you say you was framed the first time.
I actually have to watch that. Oh, was it a documentary?
Yeah.
I actually have to watch that, like, again. Like, because I've forgotten so much. Like, so many details.
But my thing is, you say you was framed the first time. And you was released. And I can't remember if it was lack of evidence, the reason why you was released. But
that's
you know
what
I'm saying.
You can't really remember, so I
can't remember fully detailed. But you got out the first time. But end up going back for kind of the same thing. And it's either, my whole thing is either you were framed both times or you actually possibly did do both crimes.
Or you possibly did you possibly did one since you got off that was like, no, we got to find some type of way. I don't know. You don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But I'm just speaking on it.
I'm saying I don't really remember because I'm like talk about it.
I'm like, ain't it jacked up to get falsely accused for basically the same crime twice?
Yeah.
You know, like that is like, and if it is, bro, you gotta leave.
But he's on this list, so obviously they didn't have.
That's for the first time.
For the first one, not the second one. I'm talking about the first one. So I'm saying what you said about he possibly did both. I'm like, possibly not.
Well, just because the evidence possibly said they don't have enough evidence to fully convict you, don't mean that you didn't do it.
But you're innocent until proven guilty, right?
Then they prove you guilty, but you can prove there was lack of evidence, then they can let you out.
Anyway.
You know, you get what I'm saying?
Avery.
Stevie did do a lot of stupid things, but he always owned up to everything he did wrong. He never said, no, it wasn't me.
No one would have described Stephen Avery as an upstanding citizen. The Wisconsin native had already been jailed for burglary and animal cruelty when he was arrested in 1985 for the brutal sexual assault of Penny Bernstein. Avery ultimately served 18 years for that crime, until DNA evidence secured his release in 2003.
We firmly believed that we had the guilty party at the time.
This case led the Wisconsin state legislature to pass a bill to help prevent wrongful convictions, and led Avery to sue those he found responsible for $36 million.
Everything what they did wrong should come back at them.
Oh, no.
You said what?
I said, did he win that?
Yeah, he won, but for way, way less. Because he had to cop a settlement. Because he ended up getting locked up again. So he settled for like, I want to say a few $100,000.
Oh, okay.
Instead of really being able to get that. Because if he never had committed that crime or possibly went down for that other crime, they possibly would have got millions. But since he was in jail for another crime, it was very similar. It kind of it tanked the case.
Before that lawsuit was settled, Avery was arrested for the murder of photographer Teresa Halbach, a crime that formed the basis of the controversial 2015 Netflix documentary, Making a Murderer. Again, Avery remains steadfast that he is innocent.
He goes on to say, I am really innocent of this case, and that is the truth. The truth will set me free.
Number 7, Dewey Bozella.
There's no hope. No matter what you accomplish in there, no matter what you do in there, you're still in that box.
Bozella was arrested in 1977 for the murder of a 92-year-old woman, but was released due to a lack of evidence. Then, in 1983, the former boxer was rearrested and charged with the murder, based on information provided by 2 convicts.
He needed a miracle, and we needed a miracle to find something to prove that he was innocent of this 30-year-old murder.
Unfortunately, the convicts fabricated the information to secure their own release from prison. Bozella served 26 years, steadfastly proclaiming his innocence.
I ain't allowed prison to make me bitter. My attitude was that I had to make myself happy.
And though he was a model prisoner, he was denied parole because he wouldn't confess to committing the murder. Finally, additional evidence was uncovered, which demonstrated he was not guilty, and he was freed.
I said, it's finally over. It's finally over.
Number 6,
That
happens.
They did a documentary on him, because I remember him. Because I remember his haircut. His haircut was very distinct. That's why I remember it. But I can't remember what documentary. It's a documentary.
I have to look for it.
But because I think it was on Netflix though.
Was it?
Yeah. And let me reiterate something with the Stephen Avery, because I know a lot of people gonna be like, "Where the DNA said it."
Yeah.
Because to the Teresa Halbach situation, it was supposed to be him and his nephew. Yeah. So just because his DNA is not found on the scene, don't mean he didn't have any involvement. That's what I said. Yeah. That's all I'm saying. Because sometimes lack of evidence can make somebody innocent, but actually be guilty. Yeah. So I'm not saying he guilty.
A lot.
Yeah, I'm just not saying he's guilty or innocent. Yeah. But I'm just saying it's a possibility he either did both or he didn't do both. Or it's a possibility he did one or the other. Because I'm like, that's a strange coincidence for 2 situations like that you be linked to, and both of them. And that's why I said
with that, just real quick, that's why I said I have to go back and watch the documentary, because I don't remember with the second, what was her name?
Teresa Halbach.
The photographer. Teresa. I don't remember exactly what evidence they had. I remember what DNA they had.
They found something in the house in the bedroom. I remember that. They found her keys I want to say her keys in the bedroom.
I think I do.
They found that.
Something about the car.
The car was the junkyard, because they had a little junkyard, but the car wasn't on the junkyard when they first searched.
Yes, I remember.
They first searched the bedroom. The keys were not in the bedroom.
Because what was that woman name?
Supposedly he burnt her body on the property, and they were trying to say, we remember seeing a flame. And they said they found some human remains on the property. that belongs to her.
But yeah, I don't want to really speak on that.
We can watch it later.
Yeah, I get, because I kind of do want to watch it a little bit later, because as far as like, you know, DNA, my DNA already in the system, right? Like
True.
You already have my,
and that's what
you know
they. I think that's part of where they were coming from. They was like his DNA sample had been tampered with.
Like, it's already in the system, so anybody can get their hand. Like, I'm suing y'all.
Because they did say his DNA was inside. I want to say they said his DNA was inside of the vehicle.
Yeah, we'll have to watch that again, because I don't remember like a lot to talk about it.
Memphis Three.
Miss Kelly told police he watched 18-year-old Damian Eccles and 16-year-old Jason Baldwin brutalize the children with a club and a knife.
The vicious 1993 killing of 3 8-year-old boys in Arkansas drew national attention. 3 teenaged boys were arrested for the crime, and it was implied that they had committed the heinous acts as part of a satanic ritual.
We, the jury, find Damian Eccles guilty of capital murder in the death of Chris Byers.
Damian Eccles, Jesse Miskelly Jr., and Jason Baldwin were subsequently tried and convicted. But the case was filled with problems.
I don't really understand how they convicted me or got me in here, or really how they just arrested me in the first place, you know?
The crime scene was not properly secured. The coroner's work was substandard. A major witness recanted her testimony, and there was evidence of inappropriate jury communications. In 2011, after a series of documentaries on the case, the 3 convicted men were released.
We can still try to clear our names. The only difference is now we can do it from the outside instead of having to sit in prison and do it.
Number 5, Daryl Hunt.
That witness told police when he and Mrs. Sykes' attacker saw each other, they both left this place in opposite directions.
In 1984, Daryl Hunt, a 19-year-old African-American, was found guilty in the rape and murder of Deborah Sykes, a white woman in North Carolina. This verdict came from an all-white jury based on witness testimony.
We, the jury, unanimously recommend that the defendant, Daryl Eugene Hunt, be sentenced to life imprisonment.
There was no physical evidence linking Hunt to the scene. In 1994, DNA evidence cleared Hunt of the rape charges, but he remained in prison almost 10 more years.
While the state's theory on rape and sexual offense is somewhat weakened by the DNA evidence, its case overall is not fatally flawed.
Finally, the man who really did rape and kill Deborah Sykes confessed to the crime. Hunt went on to become a powerful spokesperson for the need for a more careful and accurate justice system, before tragically taking his own life in 2016. Number 4.
It possibly could have been stemming from years of being in jail and waiting.
That's messed up.
But he would never have went. With
especially knowing that you innocent,
and that's the reason why you know how I am. I always be like, witness testimony is probably one of the weakest things and that's probably the reason why they kept him locked up, because they were like, hey, even though the DNA say it weakens the case, we still have witness testimony.
There was no flaws in the case other than, you know.
Man, you know how many black men I can be.
Yeah.
Like,
you know how many black men sit in prison that are innocent
because they look like another black man. Like, bro, a lot of us got the same bill structure.
And not saying that other people not sitting in prison that are innocent, but I'm speaking for like it happens a lot.
Like somebody being able to, unless they know you, if they don't know you, to be able to like, yo, I know him, I know what he looked like. If I walk down the street and saw somebody kill somebody, and I don't know who you are, I'm gonna think you.
Look, like we was back home, and I said, "RR at the carnival."
Cool. Oh,
but I was like, if somebody really didn't know this man, they would, and if something happened, they would have really thought, you know, because he looked. I wish you could have seen him, because he looked just like him. Like, especially since he done lost weight and stuff, looked just like him. I was like, bruh. And I had to double time. I said, no. No. But, like, so many people look alike. Like, you have a look-alike somewhere. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing, especially, like I said, if you don't physically know somebody, like, so, say, for instance, you commit a crime, and I see you commit a crime. I can say, yo, that was Sierra.
Yeah.
Like, ain't no doubt about it. But
if you don't know
somebody
me,
random,
you've never seen me before.
I can't go back and be like,
But you see my face, but you never
That's
see me
him.
before. But then they put me in the lineup. That's him. Oh, well, yes, it looks like him. But this person kind of resembles him too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So really,
But I really think it's this
But
person.
I really think it's this person.
Why
I'm
is this?
positive it's this person.
You can't
You're not
unless
positive.
Unless
you only see me one time.
Unless you really know this person, you like your eyes be deceiving you all the time.
Yeah, fact.
Rubin Carter.
Here comes the story of the hurricane. The man the authorities came to blame.
A boxer with the nickname Hurricane of Bob Dylan music fame, Rubin Carter spent 20 years in jail for a 1966 triple homicide at a bar in New Jersey. Circumstantial evidence seemed to indicate Carter and a friend were the culprits, but it was a questionable case.
We, the jury, find the defendants, Rubin Carter and John Artis, guilty on all counts.
There were inconsistencies concerning the physical evidence and witnesses who placed Carter elsewhere at the time of the murder. Two key witnesses against Carter later recanted their testimony.
Those lies show the guilt not of Rubin Carter, but of a corrupt police force and the prosecutor's office.
Finally, in 1985, a judge freed Carter, noting racism and concealment in the prosecution's handling of the case.
I was 29 years old when they arrested me. And I was 49 when they released me.
Number 3, Alfred Dreyfus.
Everybody said, my God, we've got a spy in our midst.
Alfred Dreyfus, a French officer of Jewish background, was accused of being a spy and passing on valuable military information to the Germans in 1894. Found guilty in a secret military trial, he was sentenced to life on the infamous Devil's Island in French Guiana. In 1896, the real spy was identified, but the military court refused to convict him.
I accuse the Minister of War of having concealed decisive proofs of the innocence of Dreyfus.
What followed was an outcry over the obviously anti-Semitic treatment afforded to Dreyfus. A second trial again resulted in a verdict of guilty, despite the merits of the evidence. Dreyfus was pardoned and eventually exonerated, but the case created a national scandal for France.
The statue was banished to a distant corner of the Tuileries Gardens.
Number 2, Jerry Conlon.
Hell couldn't have been any higher, because this actually was a living hell.
The conviction of the Guildford Four brought renewed attention to the British-Irish conflict in 1974. Jerry Conlon was one of 3 Irishmen who were convicted alongside an English woman of bombing a pub in Guildford, England,
which left 5 dead and dozens injured. The prisoners became known as the Guildford Four.
In addition, Conlon's father and other relatives were also falsely convicted of being part of the plot.
They asked me my name. I told them my name and I was punched in the face. They broke my nose.
Conlon maintained he had been tortured into making a confession. This was later validated when it was also learned that the police had held back important evidence.
I've been in prison 15 years for something I didn't do, for something I didn't know anything about.
The falsely convicted Conlon was released after 14 years. And his story was dramatized in Daniel Day-Lewis's film In the Name of the Father.
I'm an innocent man. I spent 15 years in prison for something I didn't do.
Before we reveal our number 1...
We apologize about the dog bark.
Oh, yeah, I apologize.
But that shit just crazy, bro.
That is crazy.
And they do that. When they want you to confess to something, they will beat you. And they will
torture
even
you,
before they
money.
lock you up.
Even before
whatever
they
take you
need
to prison.
to do to get a confession to make their job easier, so they don't have to do nothing.
And I ain't gonna lie, if an inmate comes in and you see that their eyes are busted, they look like they've been beat up, 9 times out of 10, y'all know y'all police officers did that.
Yeah.
Y'all should do something to those to the arresting officers.
Yeah.
Because no inmate should go in. I don't care what they did. Even if they're resisting arrest, there's ways to get somebody in control.
Especially
besides punching, kicking,
especially
hitting.
in situations like this when you really don't know who did what or if they even had any involvement at all.
Yeah,
you know
back there beating on a man for what?
Yeah.
Just so you want to be satisfied to say,
yeah, crazy.
Come on now.
Here are some honorable mentions.
When the Supreme Court reversed Sam's conviction, we hoped that would be the end of it. But the state of Ohio wasn't going to let him off the hook.
You are a free man. Congratulations.
I just had to stay strong. I knew I was innocent. I knew nobody out there was listening.
You heard Tim say, "No, I ain't raped nobody. Y'all got the wrong person."
To catch them, how far was this detective willing to go?
Number 1, the victims of the Salem witch trials.
Was there perhaps a casting of spells? Was there?
Famously dramatized in the play The Crucible, the Salem witch trials were a horrendous miscarriage of justice. In 1692 and 93, a group of young girls began accusing neighbors and townspeople of being witches.
If you expect God's mercy, you must look for it in God's way, by confession.
This created a mass hysteria that engulfed the town. Before cooler heads prevailed, 20 people, including 14 women, were executed.
Hang the witch!
Scores more were accused, and their lives irreparably damaged. It's assumed that many took advantage of the situation to intentionally profit from the misfortune of their fellow citizens.
Well, you know, that woman who lives down the road, that we've never liked terribly much. I mean, she does seem a little odd. Is she a witch?
Although some of those convicted and or killed were later pardoned, the stigma remained for many families.
I'm not a witch, I'm not a witch.
But you are dressed as one.
They dressed me up like this.
Do you
Facts.
That's crazy.
They dressed up like one. Now you want to say she a witch. That's what a lot of them though, man. And y'all wonder why every time we think about haunted ghosts, it's from all the way back then. Look what y'all did to these folks, bro.
Facts.
What you think, like,
It's
bro?
a lot of torturing and just
Killing innocent people. Even the way y'all kill people, cutting their heads off, hanging them. Y'all burning some alive. Come on now, that's not even humane. And they all. And y'all act like we should praise half of these folks and give them, our founding fathers. Fuck them, man. Weird old people, man. Hey, man, with that being said, y'all spam us up in the comments. Let us know y'all thoughts and opinions. There was a dope list, though, man.
Yeah, it was.
But, and we can have a whole long conversation about all this stuff, but we short on time, man. Hopefully y'all enjoy, man. We'll catch y'all next one. But with that being said, I do go with the name DJ Kid. This is we are.
Go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my folks. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me.